A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 6th April 2020. Day is Monday. I'm sure you all have enjoyed your weekend. With this, dear friends, let's start today's discussion with this positive quote by APJ Abdul Kalam. Excellence is a continuous process and not an accident. I'm talking about your studies, and this can be applied to, anything in our life. For example, learning to drive a car. Now, it may take, let's say, a month's time on an average to learn how to drive a car, but you cannot say after a month that you are an excellent driver. It will take ages, and it all depends on your hard work. It all depends on your interest, your curiosity, how much you are ready to learn. All these things, will make you an excellent driver. Driving a car in a traffic, driving a car at high speeds on a highway is not going to make you, means excellent driver is not limited to these things. An excellent driver will know about many things about the maintenance of a car. An excellent driver will know some tiny things as well, like for example changing your spare tire. If there is any puncture like situation, then an excellent driver will know how to change the tires or replace that puncture tire with your spare wheel. So same thing happens with your studies as well. You do so many things. You read on regular basis. Gradually you improve your comprehension skills. Then you improve your writing skills. You prepare for interview. Your speech. You work on your personality. There are so many things that you have to work on, right? And all these things will help you achieve this excellence. And once you achieve this excellence, I'm not saying it is a thing that is a point. It's again a continuous process. So you have to do it, and the more you do it on regular basis, right, the better you will get every single day. So it's like Kaizen philosophy of Japan, that you try to improve yourself from your yesterday, and tomorrow again you will do the same thing. So it's a continuous process. With this, dear friends, our pen drive and tablet courses are available for UPSC Civil Services Examination 2020. To find out more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. With this, if you want to download the PDF of today's lecture, check out my Telegram channel. Please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So the first article that we are going to talk about is Mockery of Justice. This one is about a terrorist, and Pakistan is infamous for giving this shelter to all these various different terrorists, and it's very sad that we have a neighbor like Pakistan. The second one is Enemy at the Gates. This one is about Kerala and Karnataka. They are engaged in a sort of conflict about closing their borders, and Supreme Court has said something about it. So we are going to go through it in detail. Third one is why everyone should wear masks. The importance of universal mask. Universal mask means everyone should wear a mask. So why it is important and benefits and things, particularly for India. Fourth one is going to be this one, the criticality of community engagement. Without community engagement, we cannot beat coronavirus. And the fifth one is not going to be from the Hindu newspaper. The fifth one is going to be from Times of India, right? I have gone through one article by Raghuram Rajan. You will find that article in today's Times of India. Very interesting article. It's about post-lockdown. What are the things that we need to do? So let's crack on, dear friends. The first one is Mockery of Justice. Now, this man here on your screen, right, he is a very big terrorist. He's not a common name in our country, but if I will take you through his background, you will realize how big he is. His name is Omar Saeed Sheikh. He was behind the bars for a very long period of time in Pakistan. Earlier on, he used to be in India. He was in Indian jail as well. But it was in 1999 when our flight was hijacked. I'm sure you know Masood Azhar very well, right? He's a famous man in our country. Then you have this Omar Sheikh, the same person. He was also, we released this three men, Masood Azhar, Omar Sheikh, and Mustaq Ahmad Zargar. These three were released in exchange of hostages. This is about this IC 814 flight, it was hijacked. And on your screen, you can also see these people. At that point of time in 1999, Taliban used to rule Afghanistan. Now, you know many things about Afghanistan. Remember, a few days ago, we were talking about things associated with like politics of Afghanistan, and we were talking about USA and Taliban. Then you have these two governments, parallel governments in Afghanistan, Abdullah and Ashraf Ghani. So I told you that around 90s, this Taliban used to control this country, Afghanistan, and it was very sad that, and in fact, it is very unfortunate that at that point of time, Pakistan, with the help of this Taliban, they hijacked one of our plane, and we were forced to release these 3 terrorists. Now he is in news again, and he was behind the bars in Pakistan because he was involved in this murder of a journalist called Daniel Pearl, American journalist. He was this Daniel Pearl was South Asian bureau chief of the Wall Street Journal. Back in 2002, January 2002, Daniel Pearl was abducted by Omar Saeed and 3 others, and negotiations took place on 21st February 2002. A video was handed over to USA, and this video, it displayed this beheading of Daniel Pearl with a knife. So USA was not happy with, of course, Pakistan, and USA was, it created a huge amount of pressure on Pakistan. And it's quite interesting to know that this Omar Saeed Sheikh, he went to this Ijaz Shah. If you don't know who Ijaz Shah is, then he is Home Minister, Interior Minister of Pakistan. He was former intelligence chief, then Home Secretary of Punjab, and then he became this Home Minister of Pakistan. So around 2000, I'm talking about late 2000, this Omar Sheikh went to this Ijaz Shah and he basically surrendered. So I hope you got the hint, like everyone is connected, your Ijaz Shah, this Taliban, and then you have this person who is trusting this Ijaz Shah, and that's why he goes to him and then he surrenders. So he was behind the bar for a very long period of time. Now the latest news is that Sindh High Court has overturned the conviction of Omar Saeed Sheikh and 3 others. And the reason provided by this Sindh High Court is that there is lack of evidence against these people. It's very sad. It's very unfortunate. The whole world knows the role of Pakistan. It's very sad that judiciary as well, many times, judiciary of Pakistan as well is, is with this sort of regimes where they support this sort of activities like terrorism and other things. Now, USA is not happy with this decision, of course. India is, of course, not happy with this sort of decisions because back in 2015, the court of Pakistan and the government of Pakistan did the same thing. Zakir Rahman Lakhvi, who supervised this 26/11 Mumbai attacks, he was released from detention and he is free now, right? He's in fact, he's enjoying more rights than common Pakistani citizens. Gets the security and other things, and he has like close connection with the government, and there are so many things, and I don't need to say all these things because the whole world knows, it's a very common knowledge. So the Sindh government has extended Sheikh's detention. Now this is politics. When he was released by this court, of course Pakistan will come under this pressure from USA. USA is absolutely furious about this release of this Omar Saeed Sheikh and 3 others. So Sindh government has extended Sheikh's detention, and this is all to to protect Pakistan from this FATF grey list, blacklist. Already Pakistan is in FATF's grey list. So India is going to create this environment, and then other countries will create the environment. So to save itself from blacklist, Pakistan has played this trick, and they have this detained this Sheikh and other 3 people. Now Pakistan government is going to appeal in Supreme Court about this High Court ruling, and we know it very well. It's going to take ages for Supreme Court of Pakistan to come to a conclusion on this thing. By time he'll be detained and he will enjoy all these things, and in jails as well, these people, they get all those facilities. It's only on books, they are behind the bars, or else they are having all those luxuries in jails as well in Pakistan. So because the whole world knows that Pakistan, I'm not blaming, this is not just allegations, these are the things that the whole world knows, right? Officially as well, India knows these things. There are so many countries, they means, Pakistan is like a sort of a service provider when it comes to terrorism, and they have this very developed industry here. They give you this BPO facilities as well, business process outsourcing. So if you want to train your terrorist, if you want to train your people with terrorism and other things, then you can send them to Pakistan, and you will find the links of various different terrorist attacks around the world, right? They have their roots in Pakistan. Moving on to next article, enemy at the gates. So Kerala's grievance over Karnataka's sealing its border to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Now, Kerala and Karnataka, two states of our country, they are neighboring states, and they are not happy with each other. Kerala is not happy with Karnataka sealing its border. Kerala is saying that for a very long period of time, this district of Kerala called Kasaragod has used, or the people of Kasaragod, they have used the facilities of Mangaluru, that is in Karnataka. They have used this medical facilities. Mangaluru is famous in South India, this part of our country, for this medical treatment and other things. So apart from this COVID-19, right, there are other medical situations where people of Kerala, particularly this district, they use or they head towards this Mangaluru for medical treatment. Now, Kerala High Court has directed the centre to ensure that free vehicular movement is available for urgent medical treatment, because this national highway was blocked, and because national highway falls under this centre's domain, so Kerala High Court has ordered centre to look after this whole issue after Karnataka closing its or sealing its border. Now, Kerala High Court has said that denying medical emergency aid amounts to a violation of right to life and liberty. After this decision of Kerala High Court, Karnataka has knocked the doors of Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has directed the centre to confer with the states and formulate the norms for creating a passage at the border. Now, Kasaragod district, as I told you, they have, many here depend on medical facilities in Mangaluru, but Karnataka is saying that Kasaragod has Kerala's largest number of COVID-19 cases, coronavirus cases, and allowing these people to enter Karnataka will bring this coronavirus in big numbers in Karnataka as well, and this is something that state government is not happy about. Late last month, it's an irony that Kerala governor promulgated the Kerala Epidemic Disease Ordinance 2020, and as per this ordinance, they declared this thing that a state can seal its border. So on one side, Kerala wants to seal its border. It comes out with this ordinance to seal its border, and when it comes to other states, it's asking other states to open their borders for their people. So it's quite interesting. But the thing is, we have to understand, at the end of the day, we all are Indians, so of course states, they have to look after their own back. They have their jurisdictions, and they have all these things. We can understand, right? But if you can help other state in, let's say, in controlling this coronavirus, then you should do. But the thing is, both of them, they have to give up a few things, and the central government has to create a win-win situation for both these states, because when it comes to restricting border, then it is totally under state's domain. State has this power to impose border restrictions. But when it comes to interstate relations, when you have two or more states, if they are against each other, then center has to step in. So let's see how it works out. But you have this other important information about, like, constitutional thing that you should know, that interstate migration and quarantine are under union list, and when it comes to prevention of infectious diseases, it comes under this concurrent list. This is a fact that you should know. Now let's talk about why everyone should wear masks. A rapid increase in cases will demand far more healthcare facilities than now available. We don't have that many facilities in our country, and wearing a mask can prevent the spread of coronavirus, which is a fact, or it's a common knowledge or common sense thing, as we all know. But in this article, the writer is throwing some is basically expressing, or he is informing or educating us about things that we don't know about mask, and why masks are important for country like India. Now, healthcare facilities were not created in anticipation of a pandemic and are grossly inadequate for India to tackle the first phase of this curve, or the first phase of spread. And normally we all know that the normal health facilities that we have in our country, and it's not just about India, it applies to other countries as well. Like, I don't know if we have any country in this world that has all the facilities that can tackle this sort of epidemics, right? No, of course not. We have facilities for regular medical issues. Like, I'll give you one more example. We have highways, right? Now, a few countries, they have very good highways. You have 6 lanes and 8 lanes. But you cannot expect a country to create tracks. When I say tracks, I'm talking about racing tracks that will connect one city with other. You have good highways, but racing track is altogether different thing, isn't it? So it's something similar. Like, you have normal hospitals and normal facilities, but controlling this sort of epidemic, you need altogether different focused. And every epidemic is different. This one is because of virus. Then you have some other things as well. You can have other things. Every epidemic comes with its own challenges and new learning curve. But anyway, so the best thing for us was this lockdown, and that's what we have done. Now, lockdown will prevent, and lockdown can prevent community transmission. That is the thing. But for that, we need strict lockdown enforcement. At the same time, everyone should wear a mask as well. Particularly if you are going out, then you should wear a mask. And there are 4 reasons why universal use of mask is important. The first one is that any infected person will not infect others, because the droplets of fluids that we let out during conversations, coughing, sneezing will be blocked by the mask. Remember, most infectious people don't have symptoms or have mild symptoms and are unaware that they are infected. So they should wear a mask. Second point, uninfected people will have some protection from droplet infection during interactions with other. For those who wear eyeglasses, there is additional protection from droplets falling on their eyes, and when both parties wear masks, the probability of transmission is virtually 0. Third one is the mask wearers will avoid inserting their fingertips into their nostrils or mouths, and viruses deposited on surface may be carried by hand if we touch such surfaces. So, and the fourth one is everyone will be reminded all the time that this are abnormal days. So it will create a new, you can say, normal. Right, a new normal, that wearing a mask or universal use of mask will become a new normal. And this is important for a country like India, particularly a crowded or a densely populated country like India and Bangladesh and other countries, because we have slums as well here, right? And the situation of slum. Lockdown will help affluent areas or proper societies. But when it comes to, when I say societies, I'm talking about residential societies and things, right? So lockdown will help this sort of organized societies. But when it comes to slums, right, people, they live in close proximity. They have like one source of water. Toilets are limited. Generally, it's a community toilet that everyone is using. So chances of spreading coronavirus or transmission are quite high here. So particularly in this area, if people practice universal mask use, then we can slow down transmission, or we can, bring down this transmission to 0. Taiwan and Czech Republic, that's what they did. They heavily dependent on, in this inception period of this coronavirus. They started using this. They made this new normal of universal mask use. And Czech Republican people, they started making their own masks as well. Cotton masks are very good, and then you can wash them with soapy water or Dettol and other things, and you can reuse them. So this is something that we need to promote. It is very important for a country like India. And COVID-19 mortality is due to 3 reasons. This is one of the most important thing. Virus virulence is given and cannot be altered. So the form of virus, this is one reason. Second thing is comorbidity, that you have diabetes and other chronic diseases with coronavirus. And the third one is low quality healthcare. So unfortunately, we have a huge amount of people having this non-communicable diseases, and then if they come in, under this zone, or you can say if they get infected with coronavirus, and we have low quality healthcare, so chances of their mortality will go up. So it is important that we practice this universal mask. I hope things are clear to you. Now let's talk about this criticality of community engagement. Very interesting article. It was back in 1970s when a doctor couple in Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, they observed, or they came out with a very interesting thing, right? There was a cultural gap. Your nurses were well educated, and even today nurses are educated. They know many things about medical facilities, right? That's why they are nurses. But the thing is, earlier on, these nurses were deployed in this midwives and these nurses, they were deployed in rural and tribal areas. Now there was a big cultural gap. The way this rural and tribal life is, right? It's totally different or it used to be different from this nurses. So there was this lack of connection between these two pillars. On one side you have rural and tribal people, and on the other side you have these nurses. So this doctor couple, they realized this thing, that if we have someone from community, if we have, let's say, if you have a tribal population, and if you have like nurses from that particular tribal community, if you have 1 or 2 nurses from that tribal community, then they know the culture, right? They know how things work, and we can customize things based on their culture and tradition. So that's what was then this was a new thing. It was a breakthrough at that point of time, and this is not just about India. This was applied by other countries as well. And today we have various different programs. The latest one is Accredited Social Health Activist ASHA program. It's very unfortunate to find that even ASHA workers were attacked. Recently they were attacked by these people who are using violence, and they have this misinformation about coronavirus. They think there are a few I would say pockets in our country where people are having this fake news, or I would say misinformation about coronavirus. They think that government is doing this thing for CAA and NRC and other things, and these ASHA workers are basically, in the name of coronavirus, they are trying to collect your data. Then we had this Tablighi Jamaat fiasco, migrants escaping quarantine. All these things are happening. Hold on a second, just a sec, dear friends. I think okay, sorry about that. There was a sort of technical issue. Okay, so right, so I was talking about this Tablighi Jamaat fiasco and migrants escaping quarantine. Like, if you have someone from if you have ASHA workers in this migrant community, then this ASHA workers, they can provide right information to these migrants. Like, you need to stay, you will get all these facilities and other things. The reason why we saw this sort of things is because there was lack of communication. So what we need to do is we need to take this this influential people on board. When I say influential, I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm talking about even in small communities, in pockets, you have those stalwarts. You have those people who can influence people. They can provide right information to these people. And this is important is because without community engagement, right, we cannot achieve the result that we want to achieve. And as you know it very well, that if things will go out of control, then we don't have all this facility. Even USA and other countries, they are struggling. They have one of the best medical facilities in the world. If they are struggling, then can you imagine the situation of our country? So in this article, the main focus is on this thing, that we need this remotest community stalwart, or we need those people who are who have this community's confidence, who are famous in community, and influential people. If they say no, then that will be a no for the whole community. If they say yes, then that will be a yes for the whole community. So we need to take this type of people on board, and we have to use them to spread this information about coronavirus, to stay indoors, for lockdown and other things. Moving on to next item, how to restart the economy after the lockdown. This article is written by Raghuram Rajan, former governor of RBI. So as per Raghuram Rajan, he says that economically speaking, India is faced today with perhaps its greatest emergency since independence. Back in 2008, 2009, global financial crisis were there, but things were not that bad. There was no, close down or lockdown. And this is altogether a new thing that the world is witnessing. Now, we have to end this lockdown. Maybe it will be extended, I'm not sure, right? But it will not go on forever. A time will come that people will start coming out, right? The money that we are providing is not enough, so we have to work on that thing as well. India will have to keep some personal and resources mobile as well. Like if you have a new epicenter, then we should have this, we should be able to have this flexibility where we can send all these resources, including human beings or this personnel, to that epicenter pocket. We should now plan to what happens after the lockdown if the virus is not defeated, right? People will start popping out of their homes after a few days' time. And we cannot let that happen as well, because then there is no point of 21-day lockdown. After 21-day lockdown, if we are extending it for one more week, let's say, and after 50 days, let's say after this lockdown is lifted, and after a few days, if you see people coming out and they're doing their normal things, and then we can see again this second wave of coronavirus in our country, then again we have to go for lockdown. So we cannot repeat this thing again and again. So what we can do is, as per Raghuram Rajan, we have to start with manufacturing, right? Basically, when it comes to manufacturing, we have to allow the whole supply chain. Because in manufacturing, you get raw material from someone else, then you produce your thing, then you pass it to someone else, it will reach to market. So for that, you have to activate the whole supply chain. When it comes to poor and non-salarized lower middle classes, you have to provide them dose of money as well, and you have to increase the items in the basket. Just rice or wheat or dal is not going to be enough. You have to add cooking oil, masalas, maybe fruits and vegetables, vouchers for fruits and vegetables and other things. And if not vouchers, then you can add money in their account, or you can give them milk tokens, and there are so many things, right, that we can do. And if you don't provide this sort of things, then if they will find that their survival is under threat, then they will defy this lockdown, and this is not going to be, then after that, persuading them to follow a lockdown is going to be very difficult. One article of the Hindu newspaper is saying that go ahead with, don't worry about fiscal deficit. Yes, we have to. I do agree that maybe 1 to 3% more is okay when it comes to fiscal deficit. But we don't have unlimited fiscal resources, right? USA, Europe, they are going to spend more than 10% of their GDP. India cannot do that thing. We don't have that much, wealth in our country. So we have to be very limited, and we have to use every single penny very carefully. We have to focus on those immediate things, the most important things. We have so many micro, small and medium enterprises. Now we cannot save all of them, and we should not save all of them, but we can focus on those important ones. Those chances are, means being a bit blunt here, but if a small business, if it looks like it's not going to survive even with your help, then there's no point of providing money. You should provide food and other survival things to the owners, and basically this DBT will cover households, so they will be fine. In future, when things are back to normal, then we can think about their resurrection or maybe something else. So we need to think, out of box. There is a very interesting opinion from Raghuram Rajan that the government should accept responsibility of the first loss in incremental bank loans made to a small and medium enterprise, and this should be, or government should help this small and medium enterprise based on the income taxes they have paid last year. So what it will do is, if a small company has paid income tax last year And based on that thing, if government will provide help to these companies, then in future or from now on, other small and medium enterprises, they will register themselves with government. Normally when you say or ask them to register, they will not. But in tough times, if you will get help based on your registration, if your income tax and other things, then people will pay their tax on time. And the small businesses, they make money, and many times they don't pay right amount of tax, so they will pay a bit of. So compliance and other things will increase, and this will eventually help the whole nation. So this is a small yet important opinion coming from Raghuram Rajan, and he also said that we need to take on board all those people who have this expertise and capabilities. They could be from opposition, they could be anyone, but if they have this expertise and capabilities, then we need to take them on board, and we can reform things. This is an opportunity as well for India to reform so many things. So that's everything as far as articles are concerned. Now let's quickly go through news items. Cases doubled in 4.1 days due to Tablighi Jamaat, right? Played a very negative role in spreading this coronavirus. UP lockdown to end in phases has been declared by Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. Rapid antibody testing for hotspots first has been said by the Chief of ICMR. Now this tests and treatment will be covered under Ayushman Bharat. And these are your questions. Name the Chief of Defence Staff of our country. Indian Farmers Fertilizer Cooperative Limited, IFCO, contributed how much to this PM CARES fund? UAE shares its land boundary or boundaries with which country or countries? And the fourth one is Arogya Setu. Recently it was in news. So what this Arogya Setu is all about. And that's everything in today's discussion. Thank you very much, dear friends. God bless you all. Jai Hind.